Hello everyone, my name is Chandra Prakash Bhaguna and today I want to discuss an interview in a company called Vega6 and the interview location is the Noida and the interview date was of Feb 10th 2025. So total I have given 4 rounds of interview in that company. The first was the face to face, second round was the first round they gave me a coding task, so I completed that. The second was the face-to-face interview in Vega6 Noida. In the third round, that was the virtual round, and the final round, that was the CTO round. So that was also the face-to-face. So the first round they asked me to tell me about yourself and about my projects, MVC, etc. Okay, so they asked me the session and cookies. So session stores data server side for logged in users. Cookies stores data client side on the user's browser for both logged in and non-logged in users. Fifth question they asked me, helpers in CodingNator. So helpers are the ready-made function to help you perform simple tasks quickly, like creating links, form or handling files. So how to use a helpers? Load a helper. So tell CodingNator which helpers do you want to use. So this load helper and in the bracket URL. So this will load the URL helper. Second is the use helper functions. After loading the call the helper function, example using base URL from the URL helpers. So echo base URL about. So the output will be the URL/about. Then common helpers example. First URL helper helps create links and manage URL. So this load helper in the bracket URL and echo base URL home. Second is the form helper. So helps make form faster. So this load helper form, echo form open user/submit, echo form input username, echo form close. Third is the text holder, shorten long text. So this load helper text, echo word limiter. So this is the function. This is very long sentence and then comma 3. So it will give 3 tokens only. This is okay. Another helpers is the auto loading helpers. To always load a helper automatically, application/config autoload.php and add the helper's name. Autoload helper equal to URL form. So these are the helpers. So generally there were 4 helpers. First was the URL helper, then form helper, then text helper, and one was the autoloader. Next question they asked me how to load helpers. So load a helpers, single helper. Use load helper in your controller or model. This load helper URL. Now you can use helper function like echo base URL about. So the output will be the URL/about. Second, load multiple helpers. So this load helper in the bracket URL form. Third, auto load helpers. If you want to helpers to always load automatically, so open application config autoload.php, find this section autoload helpers equal to blank, then add your helper autoload helper equal to URL and form. So this will load the helper every time the application runs. Another question they asked me how to declare helpers in CodingNator. So first of all, create a helper file, application, then helpers. Then create a new file, for example myhelper.php. Ensures the file name ends with the _helper.php. So write function in the helpers. Inside myhelper.php define your custom functions. So if not function exists, greet user, function greet user $name, return hello. So you see a first name. Then load the helper in your controller or model. This load helper now you can use the greet user function like this, echo greet user zone. So the output will be the hello zone. Fourth, auto load the helper for optional. Open application config autoload.php, autoload helper equal to my. Then key point, always use if not function exist function name to avoid conflicts. Helpers file should not contain classes, only functions. Sixth question, they ask me hooks in coordinator. So in coordinator 4, hooks are replaced by events. So events in coordinator 4 are triggered action that execute custom code at a specific point in the application lifecycle, like before or after a controller runs. They help in logging, authentication and performance monitoring without modifying core files. So event in coordinator 4 are like triggers that let you run specific code at precise moment. Example, before a page load, after a user log, without changing the original code. Think of them as alarm you set to perform task automatically when something happens. So simple analogy, imagine your app is a pizza delivery and event is like saying when the oven time rings, event automatically send a text to the custom, so your custom code. So example to remember scenario, show a user under maintenance page before any page loads. So define the event. Trigger before any controller runs. So event double colon on pre-controller function. If config app maintenance mode, redirect to maintenance exit. How it works? When someone tries to visit your site, coordinator checks the event before loading any page. If maintenance mode is true, it redirects to the maintenance page. Key trigger points easy to recall. Pre-system before the app start. Pre-controller before a page controller loads. Post-controller after a page finish loading. So remember, events do this when what happens. Okay. So I created in this hooks example in my system. So inside the local host event demo, inside the htdocs I have created a event demo and then auth folder, then register. Okay, same I created one login page also. So if you want to see or you want to display this thing on your browser, so you can just hit the URL localhost event demo auth register. So it will give you the register page. Then another page is localhost event demo auth login. Okay, then check in register a user. So if you check in the database, there is a login logs table and log file writable /logs. So 8080 using PHP Spark serve. Otherwise use the localhost /event demo /auth register and localhost /event demo /auth .login. So the conclusion is added authentication register login. Use hooks events to log login attempts and stored logic login attempts in the database. The seventh question, they ask me validation in coordinator. So create a new controller inside the app controllers form controller.php. Okay, then use the so then class form controller extend controller public function index, then return view form view. Another function is submit. So use the helper form load form helper. Then validation. So there are some defined validation rules in coordinator. So $rules equal to username require min length 3 max length 12. So username would be in the range of 3 to 12. Second is email. So use required valid email. Password required min length 6. So minimum length would be 6 in the password. So these are the rules in coordinator. So if validate rules, then return form submitted successfully. Otherwise return view form view validation this validation. Second, create view file. So you have to create one form inside the app view form view.php. So we are using the coordinator for here. Okay, so if is set validation, then div style color red validation list errors. Okay, now create a form. So form action base URL form /submit method post. So input type this one username email and password and submit. So 4 parameter we have to pass here. Then define routes. So inside the app config, and then the routes.php file you have to define it. So routes get form controller :index dollar routes post form submit form controller submit. Fourth, run the project. Start the server using PHP Spark serve, or you can use the localhost :8080 form in your browser. Okay. Another question they ask me, trait in PHP. So PHP does not support multiple inheritance directly because a class in PHP can inherit from only one parent class. This restriction avoids the complexity and the ambiguities of the diamond problem, which can occur in the multiple inheritance scenario. So trait logger public function log $message echo log $message. Trait notifier public function notify $message echo notifier message. Class user use logger notifier public function create user $name echo user $name created. This log create user $name. This notify user $name has been added. Now create an object $user equal to new user $user create user Alice. Then the output will be the user Alice created, log created user Alice, notification user Alice has been added. Ninth question they ask me, required versus include in PHP. So require includes, okay, so require function includes and evaluate the specific file. If the file is missing or the inclusion fails, it causes a fatal error. So stopping the script execution. Example, file config.php and echo config file included. Main script require config.php include the file, require config.php include the file. So the output will be the config file included and config file included. In the case of the include, if the file is not found or cannot be included, PHP will emit a warning and continue executing the script. So use include header.php, include header.php, but if not found, the script continues. Echo page content includes. So this was the first round of the interview. First round was the coding round, or they gave me a task. Second round, this was the second round which I have discussed with you. Now the third round, that was the virtual round. So the first question and the date was the Feb 12, 2025. So the first question they asked me, how do you use curl? So curl, the full form is the client URL library. Client URL library is used in PHP to send HTTP request, fetch data from APIs and interact with the external services. So basic curl request, that is get. Okay. So fetch data from a URL, $URL, and you have one, what do you call, example of API, or you have one URL. Then initiate curl, like using the curl init. Then set option curl set opt. Then execute curl using the curl _ execute. Then close URL session. Then close curl session, curl close. So the output response, echo $response. So what it does, initialize a curl session, fetches data from a given URL, returns the response instead of the outputting it directly. Now sending data with the curl using the post request. So URL, you have one URL or API. Now data, title, body and user ID. Now use $ch equal to curl init. Then use the curl option. So curl option by using curl setup. So there are some options like the return, transfer, post fields or HTTP headers. Now use the content type application /JSON. Then response curl execute and then curl close. Then echo $response. What it does, sends a post request with the JSON data. Use curl opt post field to send data. Set content type application JSON in header. Third, sending data with curl put request. Updating data using the put. So curl, you have an API, then data, title, update title, body, update content. Use curl init, then use curl setup and return transfer, customer request, and use here put. Okay, use here put in the case of the customer request. Now post field JSON encode $data, then curl opt HTTP headers. Now $response curl execute and then curl close and echo response. What it does, send a put request to update data. Okay, fourth is the sending data with the curl by using the delete request. So delete data with data from an API. So $URL, you have one API, then $ch curl init, then curl setup by using return transfer and customer request and slash then comma delete. Okay, now $response equal to curl execute and then curl close, then echo response. What it does, sends a delete request to remove a resource. Handling curl errors, check if the request was successful. Okay, so if you have one curl init and inside that you have one API, then curl setup, then curl opt return transfer, then $response curl execute. If curl error number $ch, so echo curl error, curl underscore error $ch, else echo response and then close the curl close. What it does, use curl error and error number and curl underscore error to check the errors. Fetching data with the authentication. Some APIs require authentication. So $URL, you have one API. Okay, now curl init curl, now use curl underscore setup by using return transfer, then user pwd, and here use the username :password, that is a basic auth. Then authorization, bearer your token here, then $response curl execute, then curl close, then echo $response. What it does, use basic authentication with the curl topped user pwd, use bearer token authentication in headers. Okay, so again they asked me this one, validation, so which I have already discussed. Authentication. Okay, so I am removing this question again. Validation question I am removing because we have already discussed. Okay, so this was the validation. Okay, let me just